check if it's rolling. Yep, here we go. It's rolling. The recording has started, so we can start as well. Welcome, everyone. Before we go any further, can anyone or everyone see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you for confirming that. Okay, so welcome to our event with Dr. Wook and Shopify. Today you're going to be building a store on our platform using a link to our platform, and it's going to be a challenge because you have a very short time frame to do this. We do provide you with a doc where you can work from, and we have some goals that you can look into, but I'll have more on that in the presentation. So let me first introduce myself and Tom. Joining you from Shopify are Tom. His pronouns are he, his, him. He's a support advisor at Shopify, and he's very knowledgeable on everything Shopify. Do you want to talk yourself, Tom? I haven't even asked you, or do you want me to go ahead and?
No, I think you explained. You overdid it by saying that I'm very, very knowledgeable. I have some knowledge, and hopefully I can answer all the questions that you may have. But yeah, I'm just excited to help and see what you will create today. As
you can hear, Tom has a wonderful accent that we all get to enjoy today. Thank you so much for joining the event, Tom. I am Val. Val is the easiest way to say my name, so feel free to do that. I'm a former Dutch support advisor, and I'm now an open learning specialist. This means I work with educators from all over the world, from different universities on events like these and also other things. And I'm also available for questions during this event. The goal for today, like I said, is to build a store around assignments you worked on previously. These are assignments you went through with Dr. Wook. And for today, you have two options. You can work on your store and meet the minimal requirements for the event, which is fine because it's a lot. It's a lot of information to process and a lot to go through. But you can also go the extra mile and earn a Shopify Basics badge that you can add to your social media channels like LinkedIn. It's an accredited badge, and it shows that you have mastered the basics of the platform, basically. As you can probably hear as well, my accent is all over the place. I'm Dutch originally, and I speak some English, so it might sound weird. And if you hear kids in the background, they are playing at home, so be prepared for that as well. Sometimes I hear them. I will be sharing a document in the chat soon. This will be your working doc. And if you can make a copy of this so you can keep track of your progress for today, that would be great. If you don't make a copy, then everyone will work in the same document and things get confusing. I will show you while sharing my screen how this looks like, but it's a good idea to make that copy so you can mark the things you've done. The event, the outline, I'm going to keep it short, is that you're going to be working on adding products and services to your store. The doc that I'm sharing will have the outline more detailed. You're going to work on your theme, the layout of the store and the website, navigation. This means adding menus, links, things like that. You're going to be working on pages and policies and uploading some files. And at the end of the event, we have a mandatory survey so we can track what you thought of the event, things we can improve for the future. It's very important for us that you participate in that as well. So we will save a few minutes at the end of the event to do that. I think that's it for me. Oh, no, I have a short screenshot of what the admin looks like. I'm going to be sharing this in the chat as well. This is what the admin of your store is going to be looking like. There's a section that you're not going to be really using today. There's a section you're going to be using a lot, which is the online store. You can click on that, and the settings as well. Once you get started, things will make more sense. I'm going to switch to Dr. Wook quickly, see if he has anything to add to this.
Thank you very much, Val, for the introduction, and thank you very much for the lead-in, and also today, and Tom, to you as well for showing up and being here and being supportive of the effort. This is a great time, even if a lot of you don't have a product or service at this time, it's a great time to kind of start thinking about it. Some of you, there are a few of you who already have a product or service in mind. This is a great time to jumpstart that effort and get that out there. Either way, today's effort is a great way to kind of build resources. As we know as entrepreneurs, People have been in my class, Alejandra, and also CC. You know, one of the things that's very valuable is having resources in order to promote your company. The Shopify account really helps to kind of jumpstart that effort, and the fact that if you have a product or service, you have a way of, you know, want something getting out there. Today's exercise not only will help you to kind of build that and get that going immediately, but also allow you to kind of start those first sales, start those opportunities, start getting yourself out there. And as I was saying earlier, even if you just have an inkling or a first idea and just, you know, want to put that product or service out there, even if people come back and say, hey, well, you know, it's nice you got that Shopify account. Thank you very much for putting it out there, but I'm not really interested in what you're selling. Remember, even if they're not interested, even if it's something that at the beginning people aren't interested in what your product or service is selling, it's a place for you to build that, to test it, and to learn, and then come back and start over again. And you'll see today, not only you can do that with your products and services, we're going to talk about that very soon, Val, but in dealing with the themes, the way you kind of present yourself, the way you show yourself to the public. And as you know, the way you present yourself in a theme kind of helps you position, you know, different markets and different ideas, but also with the way you have your policies or your products. So, you know, your policies also impact their type of market, who will be interested or not. So this is a great exercise. We'll do it very quickly on how to target that initial audience. And then knowing that, you know, that this may actually fail in the beginning, it'll allow you to come back and look at, you know, how can I switch this up? And those are different things I think Val can hit on today, is how you can switch up your theme, how you can create policies, you know, and how you can change your variants. And that's one of the things we can talk about as well, to kind of suit different audiences in different markets. But thank you very much. Heads up. And thank you. A shout out to Shopify for making this happen today. And thank you very much for Val and Tom for overseeing this and making it happen as well.
Very happy to do this with you. Excited as well. I'm going to be showing you a few things in this window as well. I have a test store available where I can share things that I have set up. If you have any questions during this event, you can ask me, you can ask Tom, and we can help you with those questions. I'm going to be sharing the working doc for you all in the chat. So this is what it looks like. Welcome to the event. And if you go to File and make a copy, you can make a copy for yourself and work in that. Oh, wait, might not work this link. Let me use a different link. This one should work. The second one, but disregard the first. Let me know if it doesn't work, and I'll have to use your email addresses to give you access. Give you all a few minutes to get that set up. Is there anyone the second link is not working for?
The second link isn't working for me. Yeah, it says access denied.
Okay.
If you go into, there should be a place under restrictions. See at the bottom there, there's a way of like turning the restrictions off. Oh. Yeah, there, turn the restrictions off.
Anyone with the link.
Yeah, there you go. That should work.
Try again. We have someone else coming in, so I will share the link again.
It's working for me.
Awesome. Welcome, Alicia. You've just missed the introduction. What we're going to be doing is work on building a store together. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me or Tom from Shopify. We have someone else joining.
Told you.
Yeah.
Always this way.
Let me recap again very quickly. We've just had the introduction. You're going to be working using a doc. I'm going to be sharing the link in the chat. Feel free to use that. You should be able to access it, but make sure to make a copy of the working doc for you both who just joined. If you don't make a copy of the doc that you can see right here, you will be working in the general document and it will be a mess because another one person joining. Wow. Okay. Welcome to another person who just joined. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Soraya. Wow,
Right.
okay. That's a gorgeous name. I will share the link again. We are working from this document. We've just done the introductions. We'll be working from this document, but you will have to make a copy so you won't work in someone else's doc. I will send the link so you can make a copy for yourself. My next important question, does everyone have a store set up? Did you open the link that Dr. Wook sent you, and have you made an account that you can work from? Because if not, we will need a few minutes to do that.
You want to share that link? I can share it if you want. I'll you know what? I'll share it in the chat.
Yeah, I have it
don't-
right here.
Yeah, if you don't have it, I'm just going to share it real quick.
Oh, thanks for that, Tom. Yeah. Link to start a store is right here.
Okay, yeah.
I have some timestamps in this doc as well. 115 to start with products and collections, theme navigation, pages and policies, and then additional resources are at the bottom. You can work using all the resources in this doc. They are links, you can click them. And me and Tom will be in this chat available for any questions you might have to build your store, to help you build your store. It can be a lot, it can be overwhelming. No worries, you got this. I have trust and faith in you all. Like I said, don't forget to make a copy so you can keep your own track of your own progress using the checkboxes in the document. And other than that, I think we're good to start. Dr. Wook, is there anything you want to add, or do you think we're good to go as well?
I think we're good to go. The only thing I would say is make sure everyone, if you can, log into your account and make sure you have your Shopify account up.
Yeah.
So when we start, we can move ahead very quickly. So right now, if everyone who's here to start their account, if you can get that open and get it ready, that would be great.
Yeah.
And of course, if you don't have it, please do click on the link.
Great addition. For now, I will stop sharing my screen. I think everything is clear. If you do have any questions, feel free to hop in the chat. Me and Tom will be there answering questions. If you have a tougher question, we can go into a breakout room, answer a question there. We can do it generally as well, so all people can benefit from it. Do whatever feels best. We're here to help and support.
Okay.
All right. I have not heard any messages saying I don't have a store or I don't have access to the document, which I think means is that we're good to go. Start building. For the newcomers, it might be worthwhile exploring the admin for a bit. If you have any questions, I can share my screen again. It's no problem at all. Just let us know.
As Val showed and said, we both have test stores. We can show you what ours look. Well, I don't really want to show you what mine looks like. It's very ugly. But if you're needing to understand anything, we can share screens and show you where things are located and how they work. And top tip, you can't break anything, so don't worry about it. Click on things, find things, try things, and follow the instructions.
Great addition. Thanks.
Okay. I think they're all good. I think we can log in and take a look at how to go to the next step. Is that okay? Or
yeah, would you prefer me showing you how to log into a store and
yes, please, if we could like log in and then let's go through the document real quick.
I can do that, sure.
Val, would you like me to share my screen and I can do it on, or do you want to do it? Maybe you can walk them through and I can do the clicking, so you don't have too many different things to read.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll share my screen now.
Thanks. English toast. Amazing.
So, has everybody got to this stage where they see basically the admin, the home page of the admin? You may see slightly different messages than I do, because my store's been around a bit longer and potentially was set up in the UK originally. Perfect.
Great. Well, the landing page where you first come when you log in is what we call the admin. And this is where you can navigate to all the important parts of the store. And what you're going to be working on is products/services and collections. You can add them using that button. A product can be a service, so don't worry if you don't have a product or a service yet. You can choose or come up with fictional products as well that you can just add for the sake of this event.
Like
and the only
dinosaur.
thing, awesome. Yeah, I have my house in my test store, so you can definitely be fictional something. Yeah. The way to do that is to add a product. It's fairly intuitive. You can add product media as well, product descriptions. You can create variants in there, and those are all exercises that you will be working with in this event. If you're ever unsure, ask us a question, but the working doc that you have also has links to our help center, which has very detailed step-by-step guides on how to do everything that you want to do in your store. For example, add a great product description like Tom just did. It's amazing.
Could we go through a little bit of the screen that Tom's looking at? It looks really interesting. Tom's filling in with blah, blah, blah. Very nice description there, Tom.
Detail.
This is obviously important in terms of you mentioning earlier.
Quite well done. So, but maybe just could we just step us through that would be awesome.
Okay. Yeah. So the title is what the name of the product is. Description is very important, because between that and the title, that's the initial thing that customers are going to see when they look at any given product. It's going to tell them all the information they need to know. So if it's clothing, you want to potentially put in the materials that are used in that clothing. You want to say whether it fits tightly, whether it fits loose, that it's stylish, that it's summer weather. All of those types of things are going to be in there. That's what's going to encourage people to put this product in their cart and then check out. You can format this using these formatting tools. So you can make them bold, underline it. You can add tables in there. So if you wanted like a sizing table, you could put that in there. You can insert an image into the description or a video, and this is all going into the description. If you enjoy code, then you can look at this with an HTML view, and you could code the way that this all looks so that you're really taking a lot of control over it. And that's done just by clicking this show editor button in the top right.
Is there a text limitation to put in the description, or any type of limitations for that description? Do you know?
There probably is. Good question. I don't know what it would be, but you don't want to overdo a description, because most people have very limited bandwidth to read through web pages.
Yeah.
You want something that's direct to the point, that grabs attention without overdoing it. If you're writing a novel, somebody's probably not going to read that all before they check out. So you want to be direct.
Sorry, I think the suggestion is like to stick to 120, 150 words. So it depends. You can add some SEO in there as well, like search engine optimization. But like Tom says, if you do too much, people are not going to read it.
And it will potentially look ugly, depending on what you're selling and your theme. But lots of text doesn't particularly interest customers when they're browsing websites. So that's where this media becomes really important. This is, you can upload as many images as you want for your products, and this is what's going to really tell the story. That's where the majority of people are going to click through to find out whether they're interested in your product or service, would be through here. So you can add it from directly from a URL, or I don't really have any files here that I can show you that are going to load in, but if you click here, this is going to pull from your
Computer, from your hard.
computer, exactly.
Yeah.
You can use, I think it's in the document, isn't it, Burst?
Yeah, I'm going to link it right now.
So Val's linking a website that we have called Burst, that's a load of very high-res imagery, stock photos basically, that you can use for pretty much anything. So if you open that that link, you can search for anything. So
if you don't have any images available,
that should have been T-shirt, it auto-corrected. But...
Yep.
So you can download like a high-res image, and that will save to my computer, and then I can upload that. Maybe I'll do that quickly. Okay.
Does it also have videos or just mostly images at Burst?
I believe Burst is mainly images. Because at that stage, if you've got videos, you want them to be very specific to your product, and obviously these are fairly generalized. So yeah, you upload your images. What you do want to try and do is create consistent size images throughout your store, because it keeps the flow looking consistent. When you have multiple products on one page, if the main image is a different size from product to product, it will look jagged on the page because they're not all the same size. So keeping the same aspect ratio for your products will make your website look more professional and consistent. Oh, I'm not sharing the useful tab. I do apologize. So yeah, you can upload as many images as you want, and then pricing. This is what you're going to sell your product for. So I always like to sell my products for a lot of money. So I think this T-shirt's probably worth $15,000. Compare at price would be if I want to show this as a sale item, I could put in this in reality should cost $20,000, but we're going to show it as a sale. So if I put this compare at price above my main price, it's going to show us the website as should be $20,000 marked down to $15,000.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal for anybody who's interested. And then this is internally. No customers would ever see this. This T-shirt only actually cost me $10 to make. So I'm making a lot of profit on this. And then you say whether you want to charge tax or not on that product. If you want to abide by the rules in any given state, you probably do want to charge tax, unless you want somebody chasing after you for some money at some point in the future. But you can control your tax rates and tax settings for every state throughout the US and the world. This is just whether you should be collecting tax on this product. Some products in certain jurisdictions have no tax on them whatsoever, so you can turn it off directly from the individual product level. Is this all making sense? Are people managing to follow through with this? And it's everybody seeing the same thing that I am?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
Inventory, you can have your inventory managed by multiple different places. For all of you today, it's going to be managed by Shopify, i.e. you're going to be managing your own inventory. You've got your own inventory in your apartment or in your house or your own warehouse, where potentially you may have inventory managed by other things, as if you're using third-party fulfillment services and stuff like that, where it's warehoused at a central location. You would have that all set up in the background and control it by there. All of this is fairly self-explanatory. SKUs, for if you have thousands of products, you probably want SKUs in there to keep them organized. barcode again. If you have barcodes on your products, you're going to enter that. Track quantity. If you're selling a digital product, such as, I don't know, an ebook, you're probably not going to track quantity because you have as many, until computers stop working, you have as many ebooks as you want. For this product, I know that I have 50 here. I'm going to put 25 in Israel, and the Shopify office has 2 of these. So that's where my quantities are all located, and I don't have any at home. And then finally, this is a physical product because it's a shirt. This would be if you, as I said, if you're selling an ebook, you would have this unchecked so that customers don't have to enter in shipping details. So if you're selling a service, for example, you may have this unchecked. It allows customers to not have to input shipping directions at checkout when nothing is physical is going to ship. This is a physical product though, so I'll have it turned on. I have mine set to kilograms, which I know is not the standard in North America. So this t-shirt's 4 ounces. Customs information, I don't plan to ship outside of wherever I'm located, so I don't need to enter all this information in. But depending on your products and your services, you may want to start to add this stuff, but this is kind of more towards the technical end. Finally, this is probably the most important part of the document that Val had, where we would like you for one of your products to add variants. So this product being a t-shirt, it does have variants. The variants for this t-shirt are size. So I have small, medium, and large. I could add another option like color. If I wanted to have a red one and a blue one, this shirt doesn't. It's only red, only comes in red. So I'm going to say that the only options are small, medium, and large, but you can have multiple variants. So you could have medium and blue. You could have red and small and all these types of things. You could have long sleeve and short sleeve. You could, okay, maybe I will do this for you. So you could do material, but I'm going to do style. I can't type. Okay. And then what you'll see is it's created all these variants underneath. So the small blue comes in short. Would have been nice if I'd spelled that right. No. So the small blue comes in long sleeve and short sleeve. So you can see all of these. I can make them, like I could delete this to say that actually the small blue doesn't come in long sleeve. It only comes in short sleeve, and I can adjust the inventory for each and every single one. We can edit all of the, sorry. And that's what it's going to look like. And then you can edit your website SEO, which we were also talking about, and that would be how people can find your product. So this would be really important on the back end, which customers don't see, is this description. Your description on the front end at the top would be emotive and want people to check out. This is going to be very direct about the potential terms people will be searching for. So I'm going to have expensive shirt. I'm gonna do shirt. I'm gonna do England because that's where I'm from. I'm gonna do all of these. These are all terms that people are going to search for potentially, and it's going to allow my product on Google or other search engines to rank as high as possible. And then you click save, and you've created a product. You can put all of your own images in for the variants there. Potentially, I might have just skipped over that. Sorry, my computer's slow because I'm showing my screen.
That's okay.
So yeah, you
How
can
would,
create images. Go on, sorry.
Tom, I want to ask a question. How would the variance change, let's say if you're doing a service, would it be relatively the same where you list different options? How would that kind of different, if it would different at all?
So it would really depend on your service, but you could do different variants, or you could separate them into different products. And that would probably depend on how many products you have on your website. My example here, it's a clothing website. You're probably going to have hundreds of products, so you want the variants to be all within that individual product. If you have 4 services you offer, that may look better on a website broken down into 4 separate, very separate products, rather than it all being under one product with 4 variants. Just in terms of the flow of the website and it making it feel like a more complete solution. But you could certainly do it as variants. So let's say you were selling, I'm trying to think of an
Tennis
example.
lessons.
Tennis lessons, exactly. Your variants could be half an hour lesson, an hour lesson. Your other option within the variant could be beginner, intermediate, professional.
Group, private.
Exactly. And so those could be all your variants, and you could select them that way. If you were selling sports lessons, you may do that. You may have tennis, you may have golf, you may have snooker, you may have baseball, and have them all as the separate products and the variants within them. If you were just doing tennis, you may decide for the flow of the website that you want to separate beginner tennis lessons to one product and advanced tennis lessons to a separate product, just so that it looks like the website's a bit busier and you offer more things, because a single product on a website can at times look a bit lonely. There are plenty of websites that do a single product and do it very, very well, because you're going there for a specific reason. That all depends on the theme you choose, the way you want it to display, and the feedback you get from customers. And friends and family, ideally, are the first people you want to ask, because hopefully they're honest with you. Somebody was going to ask a question or say something, Phil?
Oh no, I was just going to say after this section, the next on the program would be the collections.
Okay.
To go into. One other is add product images or other media. We've gone over that. You've shown how to do that. So the next one is collections, how to group products in collections.
Okay. So if you want to create more products quickly, you can easily duplicate from the very top here, and that will basically create an exact duplication, and you could change all this information. You could just change, like if you have another t-shirt that comes in all the same colors and sizes, but is a loose fit rather than a slim fit, and you want to separate that into a different product, the quickest way would be to duplicate it and just change the bits that need duplicating.
And Tom, you said it's probably best for services to duplicate and have multiple different spacings. Is that correct? Instead of creating variants?
It would really depend on how you want the website to flow and what those services are. For example, if you were selling internet services like, I'm trying to think of one in North America, T-Mobile, you probably have different speeds. You may want to separate, you may want to just create one internet product package service, and then all the variants would be the different speeds that somebody would select, and the price would vary based on the speed. You may decide that you want to put your fiber prices as one product and your satellite prices as a different product, and then give the speed variance underneath that.
Yeah, it's really a matter of personal preference and the type of product you're selling. We can definitely think with people on what they want or what they're envisioning. Yeah, think with them.
Some of it's trial and error. You try it one way, you don't like the way that it looks on the site, or you're getting feedback about, hey, you have too many options here. You may separate that into more products. Or somebody might say, why do I have to click through 60 different products to see what is really the same thing? It's all got the same information. If it's all got the same information, it probably wants to be a single product with just the different variants.
Thank you.
I'm concerned because I haven't checked my store in so long that there's going to be stuff in here that I don't like, that that I've written something really weird at some point. So once you've created a product, as hopefully everybody's done, underneath products on the left-hand side, you can click on collections. And a collection is an area of the website where somebody's going to go. So for example, on a clothing store, your collections may look like t-shirts, not trousers in North America, pants, hoodies, hats. Those would probably be your collections, and they would contain the various different products that you are wanting to show. So for example, my store, which is a complete mess, has a clothing collection, has a hardware collection, which has a dinosaur in it as a product, and has a toast rack as a product. So do bear in mind, this is completely fabricated. It's not on the internet. People don't see this. This is just for me to test things. So you can create a collection, as I've called it, hardware, and you would do that by clicking create collection. So we could call this one services. You're going to create your description for your collection. Same thing again. You want to be emotive. You want to describe exactly what it is. You don't always need a description for a collection, because if it's something simple like a clothing website, when it says hats at the top, everybody knows when they click on hats what they're expecting to see. So you don't necessarily need that, whereas on a product, it's much more important. You have two options when you're creating collections. You can create a manual collection, which is what I tend to do, which allows you to manually add whichever products you want in there. If you've got a store with thousands and thousands of products, you probably want to use an automated collection where you can have certain products added to that collection based on some product tags that you would have added, or the product title, or weight. Like there's a huge number of variants that you can use to force products into any given collection. As I say, that gets really useful when you have a lot of products and it's getting tricky to manage it. For most new stores, people are going to use manual collections, and when you only have, if you're going to create 5 products a day, you're going to have a manual collection. They might all end up in the same collection. They might all end up in their own collections. Same thing again. SEO, really important. You're wanting to drive people to this. So if this was if I was putting internet products in here, I would be fastest services in North America, something like that. Netflix, things like that. So people, when they're looking for best internet provider for Netflix, we're going to show up at the top of those listings, and somebody's going to click on our website and buy our internet services. And then you're going to click save. Once you've saved that collection, you would then be able to add the products to it. Obviously, I don't have any internet products, but if I did, I'm going to click this browse button and I would put something in there. So for my services, I'm going to put a toast poster in there, and that will show up. Does anybody have any questions so far about kind of what we've covered? Does everything make sense that you've seen? And is anybody missing anything in the setup?
You're doing an amazing job, Tom.
Nobody's going to buy any of my products. They're a bit expensive, but the workflow should be the same.
Yeah. I mean, who would not want a toast poster at home?
Yeah, I don't remember how much I made this. Does everybody need to catch up, or is everybody at the same stage as me?
It looks like they're good. If anyone has any problems, just type it in chat. It'd be great.
Okay.
If not, I think we can move on.
Okay, perfect. So Val, what do we want to cover next?
For the badge, and I think collections were part of the badge as well, we want to add a gift card product.
Okay.
Okay. You're testing me now. I'm going to actually open the help document on this.
That's how we roll. We all use our resources at Shopify ourselves as well.
I think there's two different ways to do it, and I think that's why I'm stuck
Yeah.
right now.
You're right. There are several ways to do it, I believe. The easiest way, I think, is if you go into products, you can click at the bottom, yeah, gift cards. Yeah.
Yeah, so if everybody underneath, I've got to be careful I don't show you my gift card number, so you can get $10 off my $15,000 t-shirt. So you're going to, at the top here, we're going to click add gift card product.
Yeah.
Fellas, am I still clear? I'm getting a message that my internet connection's bad, but
I can still hear and see you without problems. I don't know if that's the same.
I can't hear you.
You can.
Can you hear me though? Just nod. Okay. So exactly the same thing again. We're creating a gift card product. We're going to title it whatever we want to. No, I don't like that. The description would tend to be very brief on a gift card. It's kind of very self-explanatory. You're probably going to want to add media again on that. Again, I don't have any pictures to upload, but this is where you're going to control the amounts on the gift cards. I'm going to be stingy and leave mine at $10, $25, $50, and $100, even though my products are $15,000. So it's not going to go very far, but it's the thought that counts. But you can create as many as you want of different values and size. Yeah, exactly as Val said. And same thing again for the product description. Is going to be really important. It's going to dictate how you appear. So if you've got a really strong brand and people are looking for gifts, then you would be typing in gifts here and presents, all of these types of things, so that people birthday, probably all of these types of things that people in theory could search for. You want your gift cards to show up nice and high within Google search fields.
Tom, are there any like gift card strategies? Like if you have certain
I actually don't hear anything, so I'm just going to drop out of the meeting for 2 seconds and then come back in and see if I can get this back.
Valerie, would you recommend that there are any gift card strategies, like if you've got products at a certain price point, having a dollar amount higher than that so people buy more? Or, I mean, is there anything that you think about that would be beneficial when you're putting out your gift cards that you could use to increase your sales?
Well, it's so particular for any business, right? And I'm not myself an established entrepreneur whatsoever. I don't have a business live. But what I've learned over the past working for Shopify is that it's different for any business. So usually people understand how gift cards work. They know what they are. So when they are looking at your store and they see you have a gift card available, they'll know what it is and what you have it for. Does it drive extra sales? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's actually like an active marketing thing. I mean, you could promote it. You could give away free gift cards to new customers as a promotion. But yeah, you're going to want to be careful and not do that too much, obviously, so you don't lose too much money on your business in the start. But yeah, you could use it as a marketing tool.
Okay.
I don't have an answer ready for that right away, just because I'm not an entrepreneur myself and I'm not a marketing expert. But
I think it would often depend, I think as Val was mentioning, on the industry and the type of website you're running. If you're selling mainly hoodies to teenagers, for example, and that's the majority of your market, and you have new hoodies dropping all the time, then a gift card is probably something that you do want to push, because parents and friends and stuff like that can buy that gift card for somebody, so that when the new season's hoodies come out or the new launch, whatever it happens to be, somebody is able to spend that money quickly. Like, you can give it as a gift. So things, certain stores that sell out all the time and are telling people they're going to get products back, a gift card is a good way of still making sales during that time. Again, as Val said, it would be really dependent on any given business. If you want to sell your gift cards, though, you need to make them very visible on your website, and that's what we're going to talk about later. It's like under navigation and the layout and the flow of the website. Most people don't tend to search for gift cards. So if you want to push them, you need to make them visible so that people know that that's an option for you, an option for them, sorry.
Yeah, 100% agree on that one. You'll have to make them visible so people know. And once they see that it's an option, they'll know it's self-explanatory what it does and why you can buy one.
So the other part of this is most of these products that we're creating are probably being made as draft. That means that all the information is just on your end. As soon as you make them active, it's going to push them to your store. In all of our cases right now, our stores aren't live, so that's, you can make them active without any concerns whatsoever. Obviously, if you've got a store that's running 24/7 and is live, somebody in a big store, somebody who might be working on adding new products is going to make them all as draft until they potentially have a manager's approval to check them over, or the launch date happens. Then you would potentially trigger them to make them active, so that products don't show up before they're supposed to, or before a live launch of a new season or whatever you happen to be doing. So big stores, you can often go through and their admin will be full of active products, but also full of draft products as well.
Yep, awesome. So if we have a gift card set up, that would conclude the products and collections part of the document. And the next part would be theme and navigation, where the theme is the first. So once you have products, obviously you want to show them to people. You want to make them look good, attract your audience, your target audience. And one way by doing that is by choosing your theme and by changing the layout of the theme, like the typography, the fonts, the colors, things like that. Yeah, you go into online store, that's what you click on, and that will load its own menu, basically defaulting to the themes portion of the menu. And you can see on the left side that there's also other options like blog posts, pages, navigation. We'll go into that later, but the first thing you want to do is choose a theme. As you can read in the doc, we've specified that you do not want to install themes made by third parties because they require a payment, and usually they're $180. I do not recommend you purchase one because all Shopify made themes are free. There are several you can download and try. You can, in the theme store itself, you can see which ones you like. You could do a demo, click through some options on the website, see what fits your target audience.
At the bottom here, and you won't have to scroll as far as I do, but you're going to see this free themes, explore free themes. That's the probably the best option for all of you right now. This is going to show the 9 free Shopify themes.
Yeah, let me link the link to the theme store itself, where you can actually find demos for all the themes. Wait, I'll link the free ones.
And they all have different kind of setups and flows depending on what you're trying to do.
Exactly. Each theme can really be tailored to target an audience. Yeah. So you can see some of the previews when you download a theme. In the theme store, you can do a demo. You can actually get more.
Click through a website that's using
that theme,
that specific theme. Do you want me to do that, Val?
You could. I have the link linked in the chat,
Yeah.
so you can. It's to the free themes immediately.
So
Is there any quick way, like themes really are important to the different audiences? Is there any quick and dirty way of understanding like who you should go after or what type of theme you should be using? And how much does a theme really impact sales? I mean, that I think probably the bigger question is having the right theme on your Shopify. How does it really impact sales, or does it impact sales, and how we should, like if people can't get the theme that they want, should they hold out for getting the one they want, pay for the one they want, or I mean, do you have any data or understanding like how that impacts sales or the impact to the customer?
Well, obviously, if you go into that link that I just sent you and you click at the top and look at collections, you can see that there are so many different kinds of collections available for different kinds of stores that you want to start. Shopify free stores, obviously, they've been designed to tailor to different audiences, but it's obviously you want to look at your layout, you want to look at your font and the colors you use, and that's not really it doesn't really matter which theme you choose as long as you tie it all together, I think personally. Maybe Tom doesn't agree with me. No. But the thing is, if you have websites with shouting colors where you can't read some of the words because of badly chosen colors, or if you have things that are very busy looking, people are going to be clicking away faster. So you're going to want to make it as attractive as possible. And I think the free themes from Shopify do a great job just at that. They are designed to be SEO friendly, but also to look good. And then you can tailor them to your own style, to your audience, and to your product also specifically. And if you don't have any images, you can use Burst. Like we said previously, you can download gorgeous images for headers, for products, for basically anything, and use them on your store. But the main thing, regardless of which theme you use, is that you mind how it looks, basically.
Yeah, I would agree with everything that Val's saying. The themes are all very customizable, so you can start somewhere and you can end up it looking very different to where you started. Yeah. The different Shopify themes all have like a tagline. This one designed to get you online fast. This one specifically has presets that are towards like food, so they're very food orientated, like layouts and designs that are going to work nicely with that type of thing. Yeah. Narrative, for example, is going to be something that suits to kind of very story driven brand, designed for brand and product storytelling. And there's a couple of different like views of that's going to change the color schemes, but you can customize all this anyway once you have the theme. Are there any that are designed specifically for services? I would think if I type in services in here, and this is obviously not going to help for free themes, but there's going to be certain ones that say that they're very good for services. I'm just trying to see if I can find one. But maybe just tell us quickly what type of services you're looking to put online.
Yeah, that would be good information to have, good context.
It will be tennis lessons.
Okay.
That's the service. Yes.
Thank you.
So in that case, I would be probably looking at something like Venture, because it's geared towards, in theory, it's geared towards sports, but then its tagline, ideal for stores with large number of products. You probably don't have a large number of products. So there is one. Maybe we discontinued it. Oh no, I think it's this one. Simple, clean design that keeps the focus on your products. Great for clothing, accessories, home garden items, small catalogs, quick setup. So minimal may be a really good option for you if you don't have lots of products, and it's going to be nice and simple and straightforward. So this is a version of what the minimal theme looks like that I've loaded up here. So very simple menu at the top. It's going to be nice and straightforward to flow through. So you could have home, you could have tennis lessons, you could have about us and location maybe, and your whole website would be nice and straightforward. You're just going to put your lessons here and be done with it.
Yeah, and in addition to that, the debut
Yeah.
debut theme that I'm linking here is also for a small catalog and is very customizable as well. You can add a homepage video, testimonials, slideshow for your service, banners. I think if you just change the mindset as well for yourself and think in terms of services rather than products, most themes would suit your needs as well.
So
Some more than others, but
Debut is the standard one that's installed on all stores, so it's definitely like very simple to get up and running. As you can tell, because I mess around on this store all the time, I have all of the different ones installed and I have copies of them. It takes, like, there's no reason you can't have them all there, and you change between them and you play with them to find what fits for you. In this case, for today, I'd recommend just going with one. It won't overly matter which one you pick, because it's much more about what you put on the store and the language you use and the product itself. I've seen plenty of really ugly stores that make good money, and I've seen plenty of stunning stores that make no money. The theme doesn't do everything. You have to get everything together to make it work. I think
well said.
Where themes can come into play is in terms of your conversion. I think that was one of the questions earlier from Dr. Wook, that it's a theme's not going to impact how many people visit your store. It's potentially going to impact how many people press the checkout button, because it will dictate how simple it is to get to checkout and how everything looks.
I think one of the things I would add to that, Tom, is as long as the theme is close, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? I think the challenge, like you're pointing to, is things don't have to be stellar in the beginning. They just need to be close enough or good enough. And, being good at having good product, really knowing your market, is going to be a lot more valuable than having a stunning store, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you go along and as you develop over months or a year, then you can improve the theme, improve it more, become more targeted over time. But I think just having a good standard at the beginning, I think this is what you're getting at, Tom. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, exactly.
Just having a good standard at the beginning is good enough to get out there. And then as you go along, it can become better and better.
Exactly. It's a journey. You know what works. You'll learn to know your audience better once you start making sales, so you can tailor your store to that and see what works. But 100% great addition.
A theme is never finished. You're always going to have things to do. And it's a conversation I have daily with merchants there who are setting up their stores. They're saying, I'm not ready. I've still got to do this. I've still got to do that. I'm not sure that I'm ready to launch. And there's that fear of going live. At some point, you have to bite the bullet and do it. And you will learn as you do it through feedback, through looking at things. Hey, I want to tweak this slightly, or this image isn't working for me anymore. It's outdated. I'm going to change it. All of those things are going to be constant work that you're going to put into your store that will be worthwhile. There is never a perfect finished website, because it might be perfect finished for 12 hours, but then there's going to be something else you need to do or adjust or change.
True. Even goes for policies, things you have to change for regulations and rules legally. Yep. So
let's say we've all picked one. I'm just going to click customize. Maybe I'll do one that's completely blank. I'm going to customize the narrative theme. So this is going to load up the theme editor, which is where you control the look and feel of your store. This has actually changed a lot recently. We just released a load of new features to make it even more powerful. Ignore this pop-up here. I have an app installed on my store, which I regret installing, but anyway. So yeah, this is the theme editor. This is what my website looks like currently on the right-hand side. And then this left-hand side is where I'm going to control how everything looks. So
Can I quickly chime in? Because this is where you can really see how a theme functions and that it's more about what you're adding to it rather than the previews all being product centered. You can tell your story here. You can add promo videos for your business, for your services, and it doesn't really matter what kind of theme it is. It's so customizable that you can really tailor it to your business.
So right now, if we're just focusing on the home page, I can start at the header. I click on the header on the left-hand side here. First thing I can do is I can change the cart. Do I want it to be a bag or do I want it to be a cart? I can upload a logo here. I'm going to put a piece of toast. I can obviously adjust this and change a different image. I could find a better a free image. But this is meant for a logo, so it's going to be very small.
I love the toast, Tom. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was on my first day at Shopify. I had to come up with something, and I was eating at the same time, and so that's why it ended up there. So on this theme, I personally think the text, the name of the store, works nicely without a logo. But if you have a custom-made logo, then maybe that's going to look nicer here. I can change the size of it. Like if I do put this image in, I can. Oh, I keep not saving it.
No. And one of the good things, Tom, is like in our class when we teach this, one of the things that I always have them create a logo, and we always create a story. So these are things that really fit along very well with our class. So a lot of the students have already presented. But one of the things I would say too is we'll go back to having a good theme and all those things. Having a great story nowadays that evokes meaning and emotion and feeling is really worth its weight in gold. So having that backstory, like we do this a lot in our class, talk about backstories or tell about, why you got to where you're at, that really adds a lot of value, even more so than the theme.
I think it's almost the most important thing for the majority of people selling and the majority of people buying. Unless you're selling something that nobody else is selling and cannot be bought anywhere else, you've got to tell people why they should buy from you rather than anybody else. And some of that is to do with your product description, but a lot of the time it's to do with your backstory and why you're doing what you're doing, why it's important to you or the world or to the customer. Some people completely fabricate that backstory, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people really truly believe in what they're doing and they want to tell their personal story, and that's just as important and just as useful. Without that, and often people don't do it, and they have these remarkable stories, but they don't communicate it. Without that, you are really hamstringing yourself in terms of like where you can take your business. So it's a really huge part, and everything ties into that. Your branding ties into that. Your consistency of messaging across everything ties into that. The really good brands, whether they be big brands like Nike or smaller brands, tell a story that's consistent everywhere and have a backstory to why that story was created.
Yeah, 100%. And you can tie that into your pages as well, and into your About Us page, into blog posts that you write, which are valuable for SEO purposes again as well. It all ties in together. It's the entire package that matters ultimately, what you do with your store and what story you tell. But definitely storytelling marketing is very important.
So I'm going to go back to just the text here, but that's the header basically. There's more options to do here. You can put transparent logos in, and all of this is changing the theme to make it fit your color schemes and the way you want it to go. In terms of getting through this nice and quickly, what I always like to do when I'm telling people how to do this, but also myself, is get the main big things in place and then come back and tweak the color schemes and the smaller bits and pieces, and maybe I want to change the height of the logo slightly. For me, getting the majority of the layout is where I would start. So you see everything update as you make these changes. These are all sections within the homepage. So right now, the first part of my homepage is a slideshow, but I can drag that and I can put it underneath image with text. So the start of my homepage now is an image with text section. And then when I scroll down, I see the slideshow. But I can also move that back up. And the first thing I'm going to see is at the top of my page now is slideshow, then the image with text. You can add additional sections in here. So say I wanted to put a featured collection in. And I want the featured collection to be the very first thing that a customer sees when they hit my website. I'm going to put this all the way to the top. And then when I click on this featured collection, I'm going to select that collection that I want to appear. For me, did I create a service? Yeah, I did. This is going to be the thing that I want customers to see as soon as they hit the website. So I have my header, I have my featured collection, and that's going to be the toast poster. In your case, it may be the tennis lessons, but you can control everything from here. So I don't want to call this featured collection. I want to call it must buy now. That's going to, you're seeing all of this update in real time. I can turn on my show product vendors. I don't have a product vendor turned on for this, but you can control every way this looks. Half of this isn't going to really play into what we're doing because we've got so few products created. But again, bigger stores with more inventory, more products, bigger catalog will start to use all of these things to make everything more manageable. Again, I can change the number of rows and products. I only have the one product in here. Maybe if I change this collection for one that has a few more items. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Creating product images that are all the same size is really important. I haven't done that, so I get this zigzag flow on my website, which doesn't look that professional. So that's where design and branding and consistency all come together. But I can change, say we can change this to 2. So now it's just going to do 2 products and it's going to stagger them this way.
One of the things too, Tom, I noticed there's a place for video.
Yep.
And one of the things we do in our classes, we have everyone create a commercial.
Okay.
Would you want them to create commercial, or is it more of branding, or what's the kind of message that you want? Like on this type of Shopify site, do you want to have a commercial about the product, or do you want to tell more about how to use it, or what type of kind of theme should, if they have a video or they create a video, should it follow? Would you recommend?
It would really depend on where you're trying to put that video. If you're putting it on a product page, you may want a walkthrough of how that worked. If you're selling tennis lessons, what a lot of websites do, and I worked with a tennis brand recently, their homepage was like fairly consistent like this. I'm going to just remove a few of these. You can, if you don't want the sections to show up, you can just press this eye icon. It's going to make them vanish, which is going to make the flow of the website much quicker. What I've often seen is a video right at the bottom of the homepage. I'm just getting down there. I've got all of these sections added, so just ignore them. But so yeah, you often have your testimonials at the bottom of your homepage, and then I have seen a video for a tennis brand, for example, and it's just a video of people playing tennis and like some cool action shots and things like that just tie in and make people like drive emotion with buyers, and they're like, oh yeah, I think I look like that when I play tennis, or I want to look like that when I play tennis, so I'm going to buy a tennis lesson.
I've personally also seen stores have their video replace the slideshow at the very top of the store, where the first thing people see and what they land on is that video. And if you have a story to tell or a call to action for the people who land on your page, it could be a great way to show your brand, to show your service. However, if you're not really, it really depends on the story you're telling, right? So if you want to really have a commercial, I would not recommend it at the top. Would you, Tom? More at the
No,
bottom of the website?
no, I wouldn't. But you can. The thing is, as we said, you can always change this and adjust it, and you want to get people's feedback on how everything's working and looking. Do they like the way it navigates? The other important thing, which I didn't really cover, is at the top here of the theme editor, you can click this icon and it's going to change your view to show you what it looks like on mobile, which is obviously right now, and has been for a while, incredibly important. You want to look at both of your layouts and see how they look. So my store, we've put this collection at the top. It's got the 3 products side by side. On mobile, that changes and puts them head to tail, because that's how it wants to view. That obviously makes the website have a lot of scrolling. Do you want a homepage that takes 20 minutes to scroll to the bottom? Probably not, because people are not going to bother with it. So there's a lot around how busy to make your homepage, how much information you put on your homepage, and then how much information you put in your navigation, so people have to go and find these different pages.
I think, Tom, it's an excellent point, is really when you're all creating the page, really do click on that mobile. I think Tom's hitting on a great point, is so many purchases are done mobile now and less on desktop. Is that mobile for a hand phone? Do you have one for iPad too? I mean, I'm sorry to throw a curveball to you, but do they have one for iPad? Because, a lot of people are doing, they're getting rid of the desktop and they're using that iPad nowadays.
So the majority of websites on an iPad would tend to look more like this full screen mode, which is very dependent on the size of your screen, and it fluctuates and kind of changes size. I believe that the majority of tablets would use this full screen view and layout, but it would be dependent on, on the size of the image and how much it would shrink down. Again, it would be a case of testing it on a device that you have, looking at your own website, seeing, do you think this looks good? Finding friends that have other devices and getting them to walk through it with you and check it all over.
Absolutely agree. One other thing too is, I think Val had a great point. I wouldn't recommend having a video immediately when you log in or jump to the page. You need to kind of like emotionally prepare people for that video. If you have a video later, have some words, because I think Tom also hit on this too. Emotion and story and really has that value. And then you can lead them into the video and then lead them into the product, because how people feel about a product, if it's maybe environmentally friendly, or if it you're helping people in the community, or maybe it's you're donating a portion of the proceeds to, the homeless. Those type of emotions or those type of values are very important into purchasing any product nowadays. So I think they're just as important as the product themselves. So I think, having these definitely inputs from Tom and Valerie are really important on creating the right image for your product.
Definitely, yeah.
So this is what this would look like, and it's not showing you exactly what it is, but you can put any YouTube link you want in here and it's going to show up here. You would want to put a cover image, so you would probably take a still from your video and upload that, and that's what's going to be on the background before somebody clicks play.
I think they're also really muted as well. You have to unmute them because of Google's regulations.
I also muted this on purpose because I didn't want everybody to have to listen to it. But I actually prefer Vimeo purposely because I don't think they put as much on screen, which obviously you can't control. YouTube are showing all of this. So I personally think that Vimeo may be a better option. You can put Vimeo links in here as well because it just cleans everything up a bit, in my experience.
I agree.
So yeah, you can put whatever you want within this section. You can remove stuff. It's just somewhere to play around. In your slideshow, you can add multiple images, but you can also remove certain images, like hide this one so you just got 3 images, or you can add an additional one. There's so much flexibility, and this is just the one theme that we talked about, and that's why I said picking the right theme is important, but just picking one and getting going is more important, in my opinion. There's so much flexibility within them. You're always going to be tweaking and changing stuff. Just getting going and testing is really where it's at, rather than you can spend 4 hours comparing them all, but it's not going to really do you that much benefit.
Perfect. We want to move on a little bit, Val, or what do you think we're? I think we're a little bit behind. Are we? Or
we are a little bit behind. I think this is important for the theme. If you want to meet the requirements for the badge, you would change some typography, color settings, social media links you want to add, and checkout settings.
So all of this is going to be in the theme settings right at the bottom here.
Exactly.
Colors, you can change all of this. Typography, cart drawer, social, all your social links, all of that is done within the theme settings. Yeah. And that changes everything across your theme, not just individual sections.
Yeah. So, and the individual sections you went over in great detail, so that's great. Others is make collections findable, but that's going into navigation. We should be heading on to the pages and policies, but I think navigation deserves some time of its own, because people do tend to find navigation one of the harder parts of the admin to master, and pages are rather easy as well as policies. So I'd say we go on to navigation next.
Okay. So you're going to come back out of your theme editor, which is in the top left. Just save any changes you've made. And just click in that exit, and then you're going to come back to online store, and underneath online store, you're going to go to navigation.
Yeah.
This is where you control what people see on your website. I'm just going to pull up another window here. So this is another theme. This is my live theme for my website, completely different view than the one we were just looking at. And this, I've just lost it. This is my main menu. So home, catalog, clothing with a drop down here. So that's what we call the main menu. And then if I scroll right to the bottom, this is my footer menu in here.
Yeah. And you can choose whether you show your main menu as a sidebar menu. You can set those settings up in the navigation. But what is important for the main menu that you're going to make is that all of the elements that you want to show to your customers, to your public, your audience, are in the actual navigation. So you can add menu items, you can delete menu items, you can choose if there's going to be a drop-down menu so that you have extra choices underneath catalog, like in Tom's menu. And it's important to get that right, because you want to add the pages and the collections and products that you're going to want to show. And if you don't add them to your navigation, people are going to have a hard time finding them.
So, for example, as we discussed earlier, if you want to be making gift cards really obvious, you could put them on your homepage in some format using one of the sections, but you could also put them in your menu. So what I'm doing here is I'm clicking add menu item. In the link, I'm going to products, and then I'm going to find my Better Than Money gift card that we created earlier. I'm going to add that. So now I've added the services collection we created and the Better Than Money product that we created. So if I save this menu, it's going to update everything for me. I can go back to my live theme. I'm going to have to refresh this just because it's going to take a second to populate. The menu always takes a second to update. So now you see this menu's updated. I can click the services, and it's going to take us to the collections, the services collection that we created earlier. And I can also click I don't know why I went back there, sorry. We can also click better than money, and that's going to take me straight to the product, which is better than money, and we can pick our denomination.
Yeah.
And add straight to cart. So that would be a way of getting what you want in front of customers really, really quickly and easily.
The resources that are linked in the doc are very clear. They have step-by-step guides on how to change your menus, how to add any collections or other things you want to add to the menu. So please do refer to those as well if you're struggling a bit, or ask us, all good. And then for the last part, so we do have some time to customize. I think you can show how to make a page very quickly. One thing I'm going to mention is that you can choose which kind of pages you make, and if you want to add policies to your store, there's 2 ways to do it. It's through a page, or you can go into general settings and add them into the legal pages. You can see that Tom has a shipping policy, which is obviously a policy, created as a page that he can include, again, in the footer menu, for example, or in the main menu if you prefer. You can have a main menu item for policies as well, but you can add a page like this.
All of these pages, you can control the SEO as well. I do apologize if anybody works for USPS or parents work for USPS. I don't live in the US, so I've never used them. At the time, it seemed amusing, so that's why I put it there. But you can create all these pages, as Val was saying, just by adding a page in the top right. Exactly the same process as when you're doing products and things like that. You've got the description. You can use all of this to format it. Again, if you like code and want to write code, you can really kind of adjust the code to make things work in really fancy ways. You could put a video in there for your About Us page that talks about you. That may be where you want to run that commercial. You don't have to call it About Us. It could be our story. It could be how we started. You can create a timeline, whatever suits you and your flow of your business. And then again, editing your website SEO would be important because it's going to drive traffic specifically to that page if you want it to, based on what you're adding there.
One thing I'll ask real quick, you have to contact us. One of the things I've noticed a lot from the larger corporations nowadays is really hard to reach people anymore. How can like people who use Shopify, or how can like smaller shops use like contact us or use some of their policies to really benefit, to show that there's a value working with a smaller vendor? Is there any way to use those, or a way to kind of promote those?
That's a rabbit hole. I mean, there's so many ways that you can get in contact with your customers on Shopify. We haven't gone into apps at all, but there's many apps, also free ones from Shopify, where you can, for example, add a chat so they can reach you through chat. You can add social media like Facebook channel and have your messenger option show to your customers on their Facebook page. You can add your contact information on this page itself, so you can see, so they can see your email address, your phone number, anything you want, really. So the options are limitless and based on what you prefer.
Okay.
In terms of, you're right, in terms of websites having poor customer support, that's true. So I've seen lots more people recently putting this contact us page in their main menu as well. Traditionally, they tend to sit just in the footer menu where people find all your policies and FAQs and all of that. More people are starting to put it at the top in the main menu, because it's a good way of making customers feel secure. All of this stuff, About Us, contact us, your policies, helps with conversion rates, which is the number of people that are visiting your store, the percentage of those that actually check out. If customers feel like they have a way of getting in contact with you if something does go wrong, they're more likely to spend their money. If they read your About Us page and they like what they're reading, they're more likely to check out and deal with it exactly as they handle. Like, they're more likely to want to buy from you because they can then tell that story to somebody else that they purchased the gift for or something like that. In services like tennis lessons, if you've got an About Us page and you don't call it that, you call it Our Coaches, and each of your coaches is on there, that's going to make what people want to buy from you, book lessons, book them with specific people, potentially contact you to say, hey, like my son is left-handed. Do you have anybody that can specifically work with him on that? Something like that. What's really useful within Shopify is you can change your template for pages. So all of the pages are default page for me, except this contact one. So you'll notice the only thing I have here is a joke. Seriously, please do not contact us under any circumstances. If I view this page, I'm going to have to share it. What you're going to notice is that I don't know why this is showing us. I've obviously added this somewhere. I can't remember where now, but this would be a contact form where I would expect you to type in your name. Yeah, okay. I did this as a joke at some point a long time ago, but in theory, you would enter, it would say first name, second name, and email address. I've obviously changed all this at some point, but again, this makes people feel like I could put all of our contact details here, but the fact there's a form where somebody can fill something in and enter it makes people feel very secure. All of that is controlled just by turning on this theme template contact for a contact page.
Yeah. I think finally, maybe you want to show quickly where you can add legal policies, like in the legal settings section.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you go to settings, all the way down here, this is where you control like all of your back end, like setting up your payments and all of your shipping and things like that. Further down the line, you're going to want to look at that. This is the legal section. So there's a refund policy. I don't even know what that was. Privacy policy, terms of service, and shipping policy. These first three you can actually create from a template. So you can just click that create template and it's going to populate all this information for you. It's giving you my email address, probably, which I shouldn't be sharing, but anyway. So you could, yeah, it's populating everything from other parts of your website, and you can come and just adjust the bits that you want to do. Same with the privacy policy.
Yeah.
And this would be dependent on what country you set your store up in. In Europe, for example, there's much stronger privacy laws than there are in North America, so there'd be additional information here probably. But again, you would want to go and check this. It says things like insert age, so you're going to want to put specific information in there. Don't just publish this because it's going to look unprofessional. So it's telling you where to add this additional information in that only you would know.
Important note is that we do like to keep up to date with policies at Shopify and the generators, but obviously we can't tailor to every audience or every law or regulation out there. So always double check if the information you're publishing is also correct and legally.
But this is a great place to start because it's providing loads of information that would take you hours and hours to create yourself probably.
100%. Yep. And we have tools, we have generators online on our tools website as well, where you can generate it, but also the template works really well as a starting point.
So you can create all of that. And then as we were doing earlier, you would go to online store and navigation and say, I wanted to add my policies into my footer menu when this loads.
And I would definitely recommend you put policies in, even if you're starting out or even experienced. It makes your life a lot easier long run because you're always going to. And I think we've all kind of experienced this. We've had friends who run stores, and there's always that one client who comes back and complains or has got a problem, and they threaten you. You know, they're like they maybe not threaten you, but maybe they become instigated, I guess is a nice way of saying it. And having a policy already written is going to make your life much easier later on than if you don't have anything written at all. So I think this having this, the Shopify having this makes, I think, your life much easier. But make sure, like Tom was saying, make sure it's filled in where it has the age. Don't just leave it blank. Put a real age in. Where it says, please put your country in. Just don't leave the. Please put your country in. Make sure it's filled out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. It saves in terms of customers asking questions and you having to answer them. And definitely when you get a difficult customer, you can just refer them to a situation and be like, we've clearly stated here and here, we do want to work with you on this and let's try and find a resolution. But it was clearly stated multiple times that this is how we handle our refunds or whatever the situation is. So yeah, you go to your navigation menu, you go to the link, and then you're just going to go to policies, and these policies will be the ones I've saved will be showing up here, and I can add them, and they're going to show up in my footer menu.
Yep. Don't forget to save the menu itself.
Yes, Val,
always click the save button. Oh yeah. We've helped some merchants, I think, over the months where that was an issue.
just didn't press save.
Is there anything else we need for the digital badge for the basics you were talking about earlier?
Upload a file like a logo or an image to the file section of the admin settings files, and that would be the last part. So make an image that would be valuable for your content, or a logo, or even a fav icon, I think, could be uploaded in there. I'm not entirely sure though. No, I think that went over all the requirements for the event and for the badge. We do have, yes, that's worth a party, people. We do have, I think, some time left for questions, to work in your store, do some additional things that you didn't get around to during Tom's presentation, basically. And I think if we're going to start with the survey at, I don't know, with the time difference in my head, 10 to 3, yeah? Would it be?
It's 2:30 here, 2:37.
Yeah, 2:37, so 2:50 for you. Yeah. If we could start with the survey and get your feedback, that would be great. I'm really curious to find out if working along with Tom like this is helpful, if you get things done, or if you really need more time to work on your store and your settings and to figure everything out, because I can imagine that being the case as well.
So do you want to do a Q&A, or do you want to just, you want to ask them, was this useful? Did you get your store up?
Yeah, I think most of those questions will be dealt with in the survey.
Okay.
So let's keep it store related for now, so we can help with any questions that came up, or anything that's unclear that we can help with right now that would be useful and valuable.
Okay. Any store related questions, anyone?
Yes, I
have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. So I just had a quick question. My plan is to have a jewelry store with all natural gemstones and things like that. And eventually down the line, I want to team up with like a kind of like a nonprofit organization and do some kind of thing to help animals. And I was wondering where I would put that on, the Shopify format, if that's even kind of like an option, or just to kind of show what the brand is about and the social work that we would do in the future.
I think there are several options you can go with. One of the most important ones would be to get your story on your website. So use all the resources that are available in the theme sections, videos, to tell the story of the brand and what you stand for with the organization. And if you then also want to sell your products on the organization's website, you can use a feature called the buy button, if I'm not mistaken. So you can have products showing on their website, and they can check out and buy them, and they would go to you, the funds of the sales. Maybe I'm missing something, but.
So is there like a certain tab or something that I can like create that kind of goes in depth, like not necessarily our story, but just like every profit you make, every purchase you make, there's 10% going to this nonprofit organization type of thing.
Yeah, you can make a section.
Yeah, I would say I think that's a great message to be conveying. I think you want to convey that in as many places as possible. So I would have an about us story or our story, whatever it is, that talks about that. I would probably be putting it in every single product description that you write for every single product, that 10% of this goes to this charity or this organization. I would be probably putting a section on my homepage that talks about it. I don't think you can overdo a message like that. You probably could overdo it if you really wanted to, but I don't think you can. I think that's a positive message to be displaying, and I think you can have it in multiple places. You can put it in policies. You can, exactly as Val said, you can put it in maybe in a policy somewhere. You can put it in multiple different areas. You could have 2 about us pages. You could have your personal story on one that mentions it vaguely, and then you can have the organizations we work with, and that would be the name of the page, and you would create that, and it would have more information there. You can have 6 about us pages if you want. You just name them all differently, and they would all be covering different parts of why your business is what it is.
Okay, yeah, definitely. That's super helpful. Thank you so much.
Of course. I linked something in there actually, how to create an effective about us page. That just talks, it's a quick tutorial. It talks about like the right type of language to use and things like that.
Great resource. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Alejandro, did you have a question as well?
Yes. I was gonna ask, with this trial, can I have like multiple stores, more than one?
In theory, the link is for one store. So you can have one store active. What kind, do you want to start multiple businesses, or is it to play around? You see, this trial converts to an active subscription for free for a year after the event. So it says it's a 14-day trial, but you will get a free account for Shopify for a year, which is
Okay.
very helpful. Are you looking to start multiple businesses, or what's your goal?
Yes. Well, one of them is to start it out. The other one, I help my mom with her business. So I was wondering if I could help her with that. I'm not sure. So basically, I can only deal with one store, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What you would probably want to do there, Alejandra, is do this project, get really familiar with Shopify, build something that you're really proud of and works really well, then sign up with your mom for a trial. We've done the majority of getting going in 2 hours. You would fly through setting up a store for your mom in 14 days, which is the trial length. That would be my suggestion for that.
Okay. Thank you. That was really helpful. Thank you so much.
No problem. Yeah, great suggestion, Tom. And a great resource. Turn your hobby into a business.
This website that I keep linking here is a Shopify website. It covers literally there's a getting started course on there that pretty much covers everything that we've just done today with videos, and the person delivering them will speak a lot more clearly than I do, and their test store probably looks 100 times nicer than mine does. But this resource, this whole website, shopify.com/learn, is really kind of useful to do absolutely anything. If you want to learn about marketing, if you want to learn about writing product descriptions, just type that into the search bar, and there's advice on all of it.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.